welcome to another video on my blog and YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the April 2017 My Monthly Hero Kit, and I'm also going to be making a card. So I'm going to go through things a little bit quickly here so you don't have to watch me do so much. So this is me opening the box, and inside there's a cute little card that talks about the My Monthly Hero subscription. And then there are all the subscription items, and it's wrapped in a really nice piece of tissue paper. And this is my first time ever ordering this kit, so I wasn't sure what to expect. So this one had a really nice 6x8 set of stamps. These are very Audrey Hepburn, I feel, inspired, very Breakfast at Tiffany's type. And you get a full set of stamps and also coordinating dies that are in the same package right on the back. So that's really, really nice. It'll be easy to keep all those together. I originally was interested in the tutus for that set, so I'm really, really excited. So now looking at everything else, you get some super cool hanger paper clips. There's 6 of them. There's 3 like a black and then 3 maybe silver. So you also have 3 Hero Arts ink cubes in here, and I'm not sure what the colors are. I feel like they could be on the website, but there's a black, really pretty pink, and like a teal. You also get some Hero Hues gems that are iridescent, very cute. And you get the Duck Egg Blue Nouveau. These are the Nouveau Jewel Drops. And so I was looking to compare them to some other colors that I had. I had the Gray Mist Jewel Drops. I'm sorry, excuse me, these are crystal drops that you get. So I have the Gray Mist Jewel Drops, and then I also have the Seabreeze Jewel Drops, which are sort of like blues, but they're not the same color. So you also have a strand of pearls in there, and those are 18 inches long. I measured them just to be sure. And then you've got 6 half sheets of cardstock, 2 shimmer pink, 2 matte turquoise, and then 2 shimmer black. They're very, very nice pieces of cardstock. Also, that piece of black ribbon that the stamp set was wrapped in, I'm totally going to save that and use that on some other card. So that's me just kind of swatching out the colors so you can see them and see what they look like. They're very nice, and they coordinate with the set really, really well, I feel like, with the cardstock choices. And so I didn't have any problems using Copic markers with this. So I'm going to say that this is a dye ink, I believe, or at minimum a hybrid ink, because there was no bleeding when I used my Copics. So now to put together a card, I'm going to do a card using the tutu stamp, and I'm going to use some of the turquoise cardstock that's in there. And I'm cutting down that piece to 5 1/4 by 4 inches because I want a slight border around the front of the card. So I'm also going to stamp my images now. And like I said, I'm using the tutu image that comes in the stamp set. And it also has a coordinating die. So I'm going to get my Hero Arts, my Hampton Art Stamp Perfect positioning tool, and use that to stamp all of these images on one sheet of cardstock there. And that is a piece that's cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. So I'm just kind of stamping those images a couple of times just to make sure I get a nice, clear, crisp image, because the inks are beautiful, but they're a little bit soft. And I want to make sure that these images are pretty clear. So I'm going to stamp out 5 of these. I'm going to stamp out 4 pink and 1 turquoise. And there's a sentiment in the stamp set that goes really, really well with this idea. And I'll show you that in just a second. So I'm going to have the 1 turquoise tutu sort of stand out separate from the other 4 pink tutus. So this is when I realized that these dies are actually connected still. So I had to get my my snips to separate that tutu die, and I left the rest of them together because I didn't want to just cut all of them apart right now. So I'll cut them apart as I use them. So I'm just going in with a light turquoise Copic marker there to color in the tutu, and I've got like a light sort of pinkish lavender color there. I think, let me see, those 2 colors, I'm going to grab them for you. The pinkish purple is pale lilac, and that's actually me reaching for my Copics. And the turquoise that I used is Cool Shadow. It's a BG10. So these are in the Chows, so they for sure come in the regular size Copics, the Copic Sketch. And then I'm just using a little bit of Spectrum Noir glitter, the clear glitter brush pen on the turquoise tutu, and on the white, on the pink tutus, I'm using a white gel pen to sort of do some accents there. Because I don't want them to be super plain. I want the turquoise one to be different, but I'd like for the card as a whole to really go together and look nice. So this is me die cutting my images, just using my Big Shot and just taking them out. I didn't use washi tape on these because I didn't find it necessary, but you could certainly do that to make sure that they don't shift or move at all. But I didn't have any problems with it, and I didn't even use my magnetic plate for this. So now I've got all my tutus together, and so I was kind of figuring out how I wanted to arrange them, and I ended up deciding to just put them all in like a little cluster and put the turquoise tutu right in the center. So then I wanted to check to make sure that that still was working, and as I was doing this, I realized I liked it, but there was something missing. I felt like there's a little something else I needed to do. So I decided to cut a frame out of that piece. So that piece of cardstock is still the same, but I just used some rectangle dies that I had to cut a frame out of it. And it honestly just so happens that I had a piece of white craft foam that was the same size. I feel like I must have used this die on craft foam recently. That's why I have that. So I can pop the center of the frame out so it's raised up over the back of it. So I thought that would look nice, and it would still make a pretty simple card, but it would give it a little bit of dimension there. So then I thought, I feel like I want to put my stamped image on that card. So I'm using the You Are One of a Kind, so that the turquoise tutu, that's what it's symbolizing, that, hey, here's a bunch of really nice tutus, but this one, this sparkly, different colored one, hey, that is you. And then I went over with, and I'm not sure if you can see it on here, I went over that sentiment with a clear glitter gel pen just to make the words, give them a little bit of sparkle, but I wanted it to be sort of precise, so I didn't have shimmer everywhere. So I just traced over the words. It only took a few seconds, and I apparently am doing this completely out of frame. And then I was just checking to make sure everything still looked good, and now I'm going to start assembling the card. Putting all my stuff together, and to put the pink tutus on, I'm going to use a little bit of just some score tape to put those on, so some strong double-sided adhesive just on the backs of them, because I'm going to leave those flat to the card base, or the frame actually. So I'm going to start by putting some adhesive on my frame and adhering that to the front of that card, and then I used that same score tape all along the back of the craft foam, and I put it on both sides because I'm going to need to stick it to the card itself, and then I'm going to need that turquoise piece to stick on top of that. So that's why I just went ahead and put it on both sides while I had it out. So now I'm going to adhere the craft foam to the center of that frame, and then, oh no, I didn't do it out of frame. So this is what I was doing here. Now I'm using my gel pen. I had no idea what I was doing a few minutes ago when the center of the card was out of frame. So that's me using my gel pen. So now I'm going to adhere that to the front of the card after I put my tutus on there. And as you can see, I'm using the exact same tape on the backs of them, and I'm just going to stick them on, kind of arrange them in a little, almost like a semicircle right there, a little bit of an arc, and then my turquoise tutu is going to go right in the center of those. And I'm using some foam tape on that one, and I'm cutting up pieces because I want it to be secure. I'm putting some at the bottom, in the center, and then a little bit on the back of each sleeve. So I cut some very, very small pieces there because I want that to be raised up just a little, but I didn't want it to be raised too much because it's already on top of craft foam. So I want it to still fit in an envelope. So the last thing I thought was it still needs something, and so I cut a really small strip of that black shimmer cardstock that came in my kit, and then I put a piece of the same type of double-sided adhesive. It's just a thinner, I think 1/8 of an inch width on there on the back of a strip, and I put a small piece at the top and the bottom, and then I'm just going to trim the edges of this so that you can keep it flush with the edges. So now I feel like it has a more finished look to it. So I'm just peeling off my release paper there on the craft foam, and then I'm going to just set that right on top of it. And then I used a little bit of the Nuvo drops that came with it, just a few dots, um, just to, I feel like, give it a little bit more of interest right there. So that is the entire card. I loved this kit. I'm so excited about having it. And thank you very, very much for stopping by. Go ahead and give me a like and subscribe. And you can check out my blog at any time at www.gabwithgabby.com. And as always, happy crafting. Bye.